All right. Dobar večer, Plovdiv. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you to the organizers as well. This was a couple of really exciting days. I met quite a few amazing people over here. Plus, this is my first time in Bulgaria, first time in Plovdiv. I couldn't think of a better occasion. So we're going to keep it light on my presentation. I'm not going to show you any novelty, new things. I'm basically going to show you stuff that you probably already know, just in a let's say in a different format, in hope that that is going to kind of reframe your thinking. Come on, man. Okay, 1 second. Technical issues. They're sabotaging me. Okay, yeah, here we go. So the Holy Search. The title sounds, kind of grand, but it's actually a pretty nice story about brand positioning in the age of AI. And as I said, when I was thinking about what to present here today, I was thinking about the frameworks, I was thinking about what are we doing in our agency, but at the end of the day, we're pretty much all saying, I feel, the same story, just in different iterations. So this is me. This is probably the best picture that I own. So kudos to that. My name is George, because I've been working on the US market for the past 10 years or so. Prior to starting the RTM, I was actually a head of a business development in an agency out of London. Before that, I was in Texas for 7 years, running an agency there. So the RTM is an entity of about 10 people right now, and we build marketing systems that work. Simple as that. Right now, we are shifting focus towards AI, like everybody else, because that's where the money is. But we also have quite a few great e-commerce clients in a department that handles that mostly. So I will be showing you some examples from our actual case studies. And let's do the transition. Okay, here we go. By the way, I don't have a timer here, right, guys? Okay, I guess I'll ping it. Modern marketing versus ancient behaviors. So what I'm trying to explain here is that basically we've been doing this for quite a while. Now, I've got to sit down. It's been 2 pretty tiring days, and nobody told me there's going to be stairs here. So, 3,000 years ago, we had the Sumerian tablet, the Shurpak tablet. I don't know how to pronounce that. That was the first clay ad for a merchant shop. And then we had the Egyptian papyrus of Hapu. I would say that this is an early brand placement, pretty much. And Agora of Athens. Now, you have similar forums over here, right? Basically, just like us in this room today, we all gather together to talk ideas, to sell stuff, buy stuff, and basically exchange knowledge. And what I'm trying to convey here is that since the beginning of time, we had the providers and the seekers. We had, I'm assuming, Kendrick Lamar's like this one, trying to purchase something, trying to find some knowledge, trying to find some advice, and then we had the providers. Today, that number is looking similar to this. So about 31 million e-commerce stores globally, and about, well, 2.8 billion online shoppers worldwide, according to Hostinger and sellerscommerce.com. So quite a few providers and quite a few seekers. And I was thinking how to frame this in the best way possible. And 3,000 years ago, they would be calling us the Sumerian merchants, or the Egyptian scribes, or the Greek orators. But I'm going to romanticize this a bit. The way that I like to portray myself and the way that I think about what is it that I do after about 15 years in this industry, the alchemist. Pretty modest, right? The guy looks like something out of a Harry Potter book, but still, the reason why I connect with this, let's say the alchemist is a name, is because that's what I feel we are doing. We are basically creating gold out of thin air, right? We're creating value out of nothing, and we're trying to find new ways to innovate and basically, well, reinvent this wheel. The alchemist, or the modern marketer today, needs to own the organic traffic. According to some statistics, it's still more than half of the traffic that we see online. Deliver the conversions. The average is about 3.65%. Depending on the industry, those numbers can vary, right? But still, he's the one responsible to actually making those sales. And amidst all of that, he needs to build a brand. 87% of the consumers pay more for the brands they trust. And I would argue that this is true because, we need people like us to be the middleman, to be the connecting points between the providers and the seekers. We need people like us to build websites, to write content, to produce ads and everything else in order to get the answers to the demand. And that's how I'm envisioning us in this little triangle. And right now, we do have a holy search war on our hands with the AI and, well, everything that is going on right now. Now, it is pretty much, let's say, a challenge to win real attention these days. 51% of all traffic today are bots. So we are already kind of losing this war. And 37 of bots mimic real users, scraping, faking clicks, inflating reach, etc. So getting through all of that noise is going to be quite difficult. And it is an this far, unseen type of a noise. And we've seen noise before. So I've been in SEO for a hot minute. And when we were talking about positioning brands, it was always some challenges, right? You need to think about the backlinks, think about the content and everything else. But the Google algorithm comes through, the panda, the penguin, the entire zoo, they stomp you, you get, kind of back to nowhere and you build again. But right now, the noise is getting a bit, let's say, overwhelming. So I'm going to give an advice that you probably learned the first week when you started learning digital marketing, and that's to define yourself or be defined. So in this noise, which again, it still is a noise, and the noise will pass, if you stay true to your brand, if you stay true to who you really are, the people will still connect with you. They'll use email. They'll come to your house directly if you have a product that they actually want. Just stay loyal to what you're actually about, and you should be fine. And I do want to show this in an example. So I'm calling this section the field manual, but honestly, just examples of our own work and how we're actually positioning our brands in the age of AI. So first things first, let's talk about back to the future of SEO and the technical SEO. Now, you can say that Google has evolved to a point where they are able to ignore stuff like the heading structure. Everyone's going to tell you that doesn't matter anymore. You don't have to think about heading structure. But I would argue that right now we are seeing a lot of basic technical SEO that is actually helping us make the difference. That is helping us to index websites faster, to basically utilize the old tactics to get some better new results. And AI doesn't reward novelty, it worships clarity, same as pretty much always. Like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe 7, we would be in this room talking about accelerated mobile pages, if someone recalls that. The rules were pretty much the same. Simplicity is the new sophistication. And you have to go through the works. The content indexability, LLM struggle with JavaScript, so you need to keep the core content static, clean HTML markup, structured data, schema importance. Most of you guys already know all of this, right? So if you do follow through with all of these, and you actually set up your website and your brand in a technical way so that it's spotless, you will get better results. So this is how we approach it. First, we audit everything before we optimize. We build our action plan from the truth, not assumptions. And if we find room for technical improvements, we'll definitely be doing that. And then a couple of tools that I can recommend definitely is pre-render and Utterly AI. Of course, same as Ahrefs, SEMrush, and everything else, a lot of the tools are guesstimating, so take everything with a grain of salt. But these two, and then Velo's Kiva, also pretty good tools. And I want to show you how we are actually utilizing them. So let's go through the content creation and LLM indexing. LLMs think in vectors. I'm not going to spend too much time with this because even in Bulgarian, I noticed that a lot of us have been talking about this for a minute here. The search engines and LLMs don't read, they connect. So every brand, product, or concept is an entity, not a word. When we used to think about SEO about 10, 15 years ago, we would think in silos. Right now, we are thinking in mind maps. Basically, if that can be connected to my brand, if it's relevant to my users, that's something I want to be writing about, right? So the goal is to make your brand impossible to ignore. Basically, be that entity, be the knowledge leader that everybody wants to, kind of be today, or the, what do they call them, thought leaders or whatnot. Either way, you need to be resourceful. You need to be that resource for your brand and for your industry. And I'm going to show you in Exhibit A. This is an e-commerce website. We have a good case study on this one. It's one of the largest brands in RC, like remote cars in the US. And we managed in 3 months to get them to get mentioned on ChatGPT, Perplexity, and in AI Google overviews in less than 3 months by doing the works from the technical SEO standpoint, but also finding the untapped clusters in Google Search Console. Basic stuff, right? But people tend to neglect the basics. Added real user questions from also asked and Utterly, which is pretty good for that, and strengthened entities with targeted semantic links. Of course, I'll show you some examples from the backlinks as well. What this brought us is the top result in AI mode, the top 10 result in AI overviews, and as in a reference right there, but also in Google Shopping, in YouTube, even for some of the top keywords for our clients, we are on the right first page, the pretty much second or the third result. So what I'm trying to convey here is we literally went through the works, as I mentioned, we went through the Google Search Console, we found the questions, we built all of that content on a platform that is technically solid, and right now they are having an increase that is just continuously pretty amazing. And there's also chunk level optimization as a second part of this, let's say, content optimization story. Now, we've all seen these, right? The tables. Pretty much every blog post that you open up these days have this table, and people see it and they think, this is ChatGPT, I don't want to read this. Why are people doing this? Because it actually works. Because ChatGPT and LLMs are picking up this information, using it for training, and giving you the credit for doing it. There's a little hack that I'll show you later how to ensure that as well. But each H2 and H3 becomes a mini answer that can live on its own. And LLMs pretty much reward clean, self-contained sections similar to this one. So this is a caviar client. And basically, we were just comparing types of caviar, the species, product size, and whatnot. I don't really like caviar or fish in general. But this table got picked up by AI. And now our client is a reference. In less than a month, they got picked up as a reference from that same table. And they're utilizing our client as the brand to be trusted, which helps us in general. Like a positive signal like this one definitely puts you in a position where you can kind of play around, produce more content, get more traffic, etc. But because when these machines pick you up as a reputable source, they'll continue coming back if you're doing the good work. The old modern link building. Fun fact, the method that I'm about to show you is probably something that Google would still pick up on certain industries, but a lot of it is going to be basically just basic stuff that Google ignores. The web now has two layers. There's been word about this as well. The Google Visible Index and then the AI's hidden memory. And mentions, as we discovered, equal links in the AI trust graph. And plus Reddit, I do want to mention Reddit because I know they're one of the sponsors. It's pretty much the new hero. I'm going to be transparent. We are playing around, buying some profiles, building profiles. I have a profile on my own with the 40+ karma from back in the day. And it's definitely working. Like 15 years ago, we would be building links on forums. Right now, when you build it on Reddit, AI picks it up or LLMs pick it up. So I want to show you this one in the actual example. This is our client as well. This is a SaaS tool, actually, and it's a pretty good one. It's company that is working with NASA, Pfizer, all of the kind of big brands. And what we did is we basically built exact match anchors that we saw are surfacing already in the AI overviews. So we utilized the keywords that are the most important for our client, and we connected that to the brand mentions. And we did that both internally and externally when we were building backlinks and when we were building internal links. And that brought us, plus one important thing, branded mentions reinforced authority loops. Basically, we would also combine keywords with our brand and, variations of it. And that got us featured in the AI overviews for a highly competitive problem-focused keyword. Again, we are aware that AI overviews are not doing us any justice right now, but still, it does speak to the, let's say, relevancy of our client. And I'm not sure where I'm at with the time, but I'm going to try and keep this as brief as possible. The conclusion is just worry about your brand. Everything else will come on its own because, as I said, the noise is not something that we haven't seen before. Yes, it's bigger than ever. I think that 90% of the content that is out there got produced in the past 2 years, and it's a bad practice, and I do want to emphasize that. Now, I don't have a screenshot for this, but maybe some of you guys know Jake Ward. Jake Ward, I worked with a guy, he's actually a pretty good guy, but he's the first guy that figured out if I pick up a sitemap and I produce content through ChatGPT, I can hijack the entire website and entire traffic, right? So he did that. He actually built a brand, he hijacked the entire brand and grow it to a spot where he just had to start talking about it. He posted about it on Twitter and online, and Google just kind of stomped him to death, and that's it. So whatever we do, whatever manipulations, black hat tactics, gray hat tactics we can employ, at the end of the day, the brands that stay true to themselves are the ones that are actually, staying alive. Now, you can't automate meeting and you can't fake trust. And these are the two things that we all kind of we all see people talking about this and that on the internet, trying out different types of contents, and then we feel like this is something that I can also fake or replicate, etc. I would tell you again, just be genuine. Just talk to the people that you actually want to be selling to. Talk about them with the stuff that about the stuff that you actually know about, and we should be fine. Yesterday there was a guy that was showing us Einstein and the theory of relativity. My message is pretty much the same. You can't fake that. You can't fake ambition, you can't fake drive, you can't fake human interactions. And my personal hope is that as this thing evolves, we'll come to see that more and more. But let's go through some, let's say, general advice on how to build your brand. First, stay loyal to who you are, what you stand for, what you repeat without fail, what the world sees, and then what no algorithm can replace. Again, we see a lot of content, and probably if you're working with clients, you'll get feedback like, why do I need to produce 2,000 words and build all these assets when Nike has just one image and they rank? Simply because it's a genuine experience. It's a brand that is known. And if you are capable of producing content that is actually going to attract attention, get you known, get you the reputation, it's pretty much the name of the game, right? Everything else is just, in my opinion, technical details. But we do have the responsibility of the creation right now because, again, we are all utilizing LLMs, ChatGPTs, and everything else to create content. And creation became pretty easy. We can produce images. This entire presentation is built with AI as well. And AI does multiply noise. And it is our duty to create actual signals. And I'll tell you a bit more about that in a second as well. So every post, page, and pixel adds to the collective web. And we are the ones that are going to have to make it worth remembering. Because one thing we have to think about when we are producing content and placing our brands in LLMs and through the help of ChatGPT is that as we are doing that and producing content, ChatGPT and LLMs feed from that content. And we feed from them. So we are creating a loop, which is quite interesting until you figure out that ChatGPT is lying to you. Like 20% of the time, you get information that is unreliable, not no matter how you write the prompts, it's still going to have a bit of hallucinations, right? And it is getting better, and I'm positive it'll get even better. But when AI is producing fake information, you take it with no fact-checking, with no worry about your brand, and you place it back on the internet, and ChatGPT picks it up again, what you see is a loop that is going to drive us into insanity, pretty much. Pretty grim, right? Still, the responsibility of the creation is us basically trying to control this device, trying to control this robot, and trying to control ourselves in order to produce something of quality. And as I said, define yourself or be defined. It's as old as digital marketing. Just stay loyal to the brand. And today, you need to control yourself, and you will be controlling AI too. So this was a quick and fun lecture. If you want to see any of our frameworks or anything similar from the case studies that I show you, do hit me up on LinkedIn. But this was it from me. So thank you, Plovdiv, and thank you, guys.